Previously on the MidFlight Crisis. For the love of Libra.
Looks like you've activated a time loop.
What are the odds of him figuring out the override?
Have you thought about getting a new work partner?
Hey, Charley, can you hear me?
What? Is that you, Matt?
Hi, I'm Katana.
Extracting files now. I'm also going to send off the cryovirus warning into the network.
Security has been notified. They're heading to your location.
Almost.
Wait, triplets? Hold on a yocto second. Aren't you Mr. O'Shea? We picked up your ID on your bracelet.
Maybe?
He's the one that had the shout out today. Hey, Bill, get over here. This is the guy. Can we get a photo?
Photo? Yeah, sure.
We're big fans. We follow your work-life balance blog. Amazing stuff. And your perspective on a decluttered mind, mirroring a decluttered workspace. I live that now. Thanks to you.
I, certainly appreciate that I helped you out, and you're probably wondering why I'm here. Obviously, I was also looking for the guy that broke in.
Did you happen to see the guy who broke in here?
Yeah. He was 6'3", lanky build with long, reddish blonde hair, trimmed beard, and piercing purple eyes.
Got it. Great description. We're on it. And again, big fans. If you need anything here, you let us know. We're happy to help.
I'll hold you to it.
We've got a report of break-dancing guinea pigs in the lab. Several have been popcorning too.
There's a guinea pig lab?
We also have a slalom ski course with a hot chocolate bar, a jetpack testing facility, and an indoor rainforest for supplemental oxygen production. We'll give you the grand tour sometime, if you'd like.
I'll take you up on that.
And make sure to pick up your towel at one of the many convenient towel stations currently being set up throughout the company. You can use your bracelet to locate them.
We're receiving towels because...
As of 5 minutes ago, it's officially towel day. You can take your towel wherever you'd like. Very helpful during light jumps in space.
Thank you.
All right, boys, let's head on out.
Our hero returns to the filter, physically unscathed but mentally exhausted. At least he now has a fluffy towel.
I know that look.
You do?
You're hearing that voice again.
I've checked in with my telehealth doctor, and she says it's a side effect of my continual temporal drifting.
Just give it time.
Aren't you hilarious? Has Aaron deciphered the files I sent?
Yes, but next time I'd avoid the pneumatic tube system.
It's a perfect way to send supplies.
Let me rephrase. Avoid also sending 2 cups of coffee, an order of scrambled eggs, and fried fava beans via the pneumatic tube system.
Well, our shift is ending pretty soon, and I figured we could view the files over breakfast.
It's nighttime.
Falafel House serves all-day breakfast. I thought we could try it.
You're right.
And another thing. Wait, what'd you say?
We need to assimilate into the work culture. That means taking part in the food and festivities. Do you know what today is on the daily holiday calendar?
This company celebrates a holiday every day?
Of course they do. Today is...
Towel Day. Yes, I'm aware.
These towels are so fluffy. They're apparently woven with nanocapsules that release pleasant chemicals to keep us calm, happy, and productive.
The company is using us as guinea pigs.
They already have a guinea pig lab. Using us would be redundant. These company minutes will take a while to decipher, right, Aaron?
Possibly.
How long exactly?
I'm not an easy big oven. You can't just add water, mix, and multi-level encryption codes into my system and expect red velvet cake. Have you decided on your international sterling upgrade?
You're more relentless than that extended spaceship warranty guy. Our plan is to lay low for a while until the message is deciphered.
As the days turn into weeks, we find our heroes firmly rooted within the cool crowd at Mesmerize.
Did you hear that?
Their old lives seem now a distant memory, like a fading star amidst the black velvet expanse.
Hear what?
Despite their embracing of the company's mandated power naps to restore peace and calm, one coworker's birthday party will give them a rude awakening.
There's that voice again. I swear I hear bits and pieces every now and then.
That voice again? I'm sure it'll go away eventually.
You have to hear it too.
I don't hear anything. I'm sorry. Are you sure you're not hearing Aaron?
I didn't say anything. But now that I'm relevant again, I do have some good and bad news.
What's the good news?
I've deciphered the code. It took all my processing power, but I got it done. You're welcome. I'll be expecting that emotional interface upgrade any day now.
That's fine.
That's fine. This is the whole reason you two are here, to remove your sentences. Do you not remember?
We've had that on the back burner. Things have changed. We've changed. We have a work family here.
And that office romance with Katana?
I'm trying to keep things professional.
Oh, okay.
Part of the message pertains to a hired assassin named Mr. Clean. This person is known throughout the galaxy for his or her ability to make people disappear. The saying goes, Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it. And I believe this person has been busy. The reason why you guys were able to fill 2 vacancies was because the last 2 disappeared under mysterious circumstances. But there's a way to prevent all of that.
What is it?
I've also got bad news.
What's the bad news? Wait, tell us how to stop Mr. Clean.
I've depleted my power stores, going into sleep mode.
But we need you. Don't leave us.
I'm not dying. I just need recharging outside of the ship's capacitors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We've been gone from the ship for quite some time. I'll pull up a serendibite to play while I'm charging up. Remember the acoustic brilliance of a serendibite starting up.
Huh. I've almost forgotten about that. It's been a few weeks.
I feel like you could have told us how to stop Mr. Clean by now.
Going to sleep now. Playing the serendibite.
Mr. Clean gets rid of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute.
Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it.
Floors, doors, walls, halls, white sidewall tires and old golf balls.
Sinks, stoves, bathtubs he'll do. He'll even help clean laundry too.
Mr. Clean gets rid of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute.
Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it.
And that's how, with a little chemistry and the right know-how, you can actually make lightning in a bottle.
Let me see that procedure. Sulfuric acid, potassium permanganate, ethanol, sugar? Who came up with this? A drunken baker? This sounds dangerous.
I think it's time to start gathering ingredients for a thunder cake. Thunder, thunder, thunder. There's a storm brewing. And we're back. Broadcasting from our studio on the pale blue dot we call Earth, we've got a great show for you today.
That's right, Charlie. Today we're talking about holidays and everything that comes with them. So, Charlie, the baseball player, Earl Wilson, said, a vacation is what you take when you can no longer take what you've been taking.
That makes sense.
Yes. Maybe he was talking about ibuprofen. I don't know.
Almost like a Yogi Berram, where, like, if you get to a fork in the road, you got to just take it.
The first quote, and we're there already. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A holiday may be defined as a day or days set aside by law or custom in which everyday activities are suspended, usually with an emphasis on celebrating an event or person of historical or religious significance.
I believe Madonna had said, if you need a holiday, just take some time and celebrate just one moment out of life. It could be all right, Holiday.
Was that the Sean Penn years?
It actually wasn't.
Oh well. Now, modern holidays are often functionally a time for leisure, so it's time to take the day off and not work, like an extra weekend day. The term also refers to what Americans would call a vacation in the UK. That's what the British call a holiday, what we would call a vacation. And other countries that at one time had a British influence or were part of the British Empire, such as India and Canada, they use the term holiday in exchange for vacation. Now, national American holidays are only truly observed on the federal level, but state and local businesses and schools often close on the same day as a courtesy.
So that mean that schools would be open technically during some holidays, potentially?
Yeah, like some days are on the calendar and they're federally observed. So the post office might be closed or the local government branch, like the court systems.
Yeah.
But schools could be open or work definitely could be open. I mean, you and I work on holidays all the time, so.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting tidbit. We'll get to Christmas a little bit later, but Christmas was actually was first observed in Alabama. That was the first state to statewide call Christmas a holiday, and it took until 1836. The last state to acknowledge Christmas as a state holiday.
Let me guess. Oklahoma.
Good guess. Did you read ahead?
Maybe.
But that was all the way up till 1907, just over 100 years ago.
That is crazy. And that's about 60 plus years, too?
Yeah. Took over 60 years, almost 70 years.
Yeah.
71 years.
Mm-hmm. So the term holiday comes from two Old English words that literally translate to holy day, showing how past influence was for celebrating a religious day. So most holidays have an origin in some religious significance. Oftentimes when a holiday occurs on a weekend day, the closing of businesses and regular work activities is observed on the following Monday. Now, this even gets its own term in New Zealand called Mondaysation.
Oh, those Kiwis and their crazy terms.
Whoa, Matt.
I said crazy terms, not crazy Kiwis.
Oh, I think you said crazy turns.
Oh, well, I mean, take a turn of phrase.
That's a different bird.
I'm sure there are crazy Kiwis too out there. We love you too.
Speaking of things, Benjamin Franklin once said, "Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man."
You're about to tell me about New Year's, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. All right. New Year's, January 1st, is slated as New Year, denoted by the fact that we use the Gregorian calendar.
Greg who?
Greg Orion.
Oh, Orion. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Greg Orion. Maybe that's where they got the constellation from, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy, Greg.
Yeah,
he
we'll
pointed
fact
up,
check it later.
Like, that looks like Orion.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at his belt.
We'll call it Greg Orion.
Yeah. Orion and his Gucci belt. This calendar includes leap years, but do you know how leap years actually work?
I know we get an extra day every 4 years. That's all I got.
That's pretty much it. The calendar accounts for approximately 365.2425 days.
That's not a quarter day.
That's close enough. So rounding up with every fourth cycle around the sun would add one more day to account for, which is why we observe a leap day each year, divisible by the number 4.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm saying back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to reiterate.
Oh.
So it's still not even a rounding thing. So years are divisible by 4 and by 100, such as a new century. They do not observe a leap day unless the year is also divisible by 400.
We had a leap day in 2000. Oh, that's
Yeah.
104. Okay.
Mhm, there
So
you go.
1900, I wasn't around back then. They didn't have a leap day, I guess.
But there are New Year's celebrated in other countries.
Oh, absolutely. Chinese New Year, for one, the very famous New Year, or at least in American culture it is well known. It's celebrated in spring on the new moon of the first lunar month. Now, in their calendar, the calendar they observe for this, that usually falls between January 21st and February 21st. Korea is another Asian country that also has a different one. Their New Year is called Silao. I hope I said that correctly. It's the first day of their lunar calendar. In Babylonia, the New Year fell after the spring equinox on the first moon, or the first new moon, rather, which makes sense. That's like the beginning of a new springtime. Flowers are blooming. Things are starting to rise up for the summer. And their celebration in Babylonia lasted for 11 days, which is a pretty good party.
Yeah, just babble on and on and on.
Oh, here we go.
Mhm.
Okay. Some cultures or countries celebrate New Year's in April, June, September, even December.
It seems like every month would be a New Year somewhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be. I still think we should switch to the one world time. Makes perfect sense to me.
And what would that be?
Well, it could be whatever. I mean, time's a construct, right? So it could be like 11 p.m. right now, everywhere. Why not? Flights. Can you imagine how much easier it'd be to book a flight?
Mm-hmm. Because it'd be the same time and
Yeah.
when you take off and when you land.
And if it's a 3-hour flight, well, it doesn't matter if you're crossing time zones. It's going to be 3 hours later everywhere in the world. It would just take some adjustment. Anyway.
Blowing my mind here.
So what would we do? What do we do in America for New Year's? The traditional New Year's Eve kiss at midnight, which is actually technically the first kiss of the new year. It's thought to bring good luck in a vulnerable time of transition from the warm part of the year to the cold part of the year. And in this transition, the veil between realms was kind of thinned. So evil spirits were allowed more freedom to wander between the realms. So kissing someone, especially someone you loved, kind of strengthened your relationship and your spirit and warded off evil spirits.
That makes sense because outside of the podcast, we're part-time demon hunters. And man, New Year is a busy time for us.
They are everywhere.
They are relentless.
Don't look behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, champagne. Everybody toasts champagne in the New Year. Do you know why?
I feel like you're about to tell me.
I am. It's all, like many things in our culture, an advertising campaign from the 50s.
It's not rooted in any kind of cultural history or...
Couldn't find anything about it. It was popular in France.
The
where
Druids
champagne...
didn't crack open bottles of
Druids
Andre.
didn't have champagne. I'm sure they drank alcohol. I'm sure they imbibed. But specifically champagne, all advertising.
Maybe they had bottles of mead.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah.
Do you like mead?
I love mead.
I hate mead.
Why don't you like mead?
It's too thick and it's like a bittersweet. It's a weird
it's
flavor.
Fermented honey. So
yeah, it's weird. I don't like it.
I think it's great.
Teach his own.
Oh, we had gotten some from the Savannah Bee Company, downtown Savannah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The interesting thing about mead, we're going to take a little tangent for a second, is that they don't ship it from that store. So you have to actually hire someone to buy it from the store, walk 2 blocks down to the FedEx, and then have them ship it.
That seems like a lost opportunity. They could charge like a little bit more and make money.
I know. I mean, we could make millions.
Lazy bums. It's not that much work. It's 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Now the ball drop. Everybody knows about the ball drop in America because a lot of us watch it on TV. This actually did have a historical significance. Sailors used to set their timepieces when they were out at sea, when they were leaving or coming in. They would set their timepiece to a ball that was dropped into a harbor at specific time. So they could look out over the horizon with their eyepiece, see this ball, and know that it is this time.
Not to be confused with dropping the ball, which essentially was the euphemism for making a mistake.
Right. Yeah. Totally different thing.
Yeah.
And the resolution idea, next year I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to get healthy.
I believe in you.
I'm not going to do that. I keep saying I am.
Well, maybe go to the gym every other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got a gym here, so.
We can go to the gym, maybe not work out. You can look at all the workout equipment.
Well, this actually originated as a way to swear fealty or loyalty to your ruler, to your monarch or your lord or whoever was ruling over you. They renewed their allegiance every year. And the Methodist Church, which I actually grew up Methodist, it began holding renewal services on December 31st. And the tradition between the two of swearing loyalty again and thinking about all the bad things you've done in the year kind of morphed into New Year's resolutions that we have today.
Mm-hmm.
Fireworks? Why in the heck do we shoot off fireworks? I mean, it's a tradition, and have you really stopped to think about it?
I mean, as avid demon hunters, we shoot off fireworks all the time in order to drive off evil spirits, right?
Exactly. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Evil spirits are out there. Fireworks scare them away. The loud noises are not fun for the demons.
Now, Hamilton Wright Mabie, an American writer and critic, had said, "Blessed is the season which engages the whole world in a conspiracy of love." And what holiday is more attenuated to love than Valentine's
Labor
Day?
Day. Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
Valentine's Day is better.
Labor Day would be your love for the work that you do.
Actually be the love of taking time away from the work that I do.
Yeah, you love your work so much that you want to take time away from it in order to appreciate it from a distance.
I want to be fresh on Tuesday.
Yeah. So fresh. Now, Valentine's Day originated in Rome in 496 AD to commemorate St. Valentine's death on February 14th in 269 AD. So this is a very old holiday. But the original story was that St. Valentine was imprisoned for ministering to the persecuted Christians. Just before being executed, he restored the sight of his jailer's blind daughter.
That's the miracle he had to perform to become a saint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, it only became a romantic holiday in the 1300s and the 1400s, I believe, when the idea of love became popular in royal courts of the time. So they reappropriated St. Valentine's as a cultural tradition for celebrating love.
Yeah, and it's a way to sell chocolate and cards and candy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it's actually not recognized as a public holiday anywhere in the world?
Are you serious?
Except the Lutheran Church. It's also celebrated on July 6th, July 30th, but those are two entirely different Saint Valentines.
So like St. Valentine 1 or St. Valentine 2?
Yeah, A, B, however you want to designate. Another holiday that's coming up is Easter. In this journey through the year that we're taking of holidays, major holidays, it is observed to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ somewhere around 30 AD after his crucifixion. This is one of our first examples. Well, actually, it's not. The New Year's is kind of a floating holiday as well, but this is the first example we really have of a floating holiday in this sense, which is similar to the Asian New Year's. It falls on a different day each year. And now it falls on the first Sunday after the first full moon on or nearest March 21st. So common traditions that we do here in America include a figure that is similar to Santa Claus in the fact that he or she gives gifts. I don't know if this is a he or she. I never really thought about it. I guess it's he. The Easter Bunny.
It could be a she.
It could be.
She Claus.
We won't, not Santa Claus. Well, there's Mrs. Claus, but the Easter Bunny is just one figure. Anyway, talking about the Easter Bunny. Often comes the night before Easter and leaves a basket of gifts. We also dye eggs and then hide them in the field for some reason. Has to do with fertility and the pagan holidays that this kind of was incorporated from. Feasting, as goes along with many holidays. Many Christians go to church, and sometimes it's the only time they go to church and pray. And often they do an early service known as a sunrise service. And that helps them to celebrate the entire day of Easter.
That's interesting. Now let's go to Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr. Muslim holiday in which observers fast and abstain from sunrise to sunset. It's practiced as a way to show obedience to Allah and to atone for past transgressions. Also a way to promote camaraderie amongst friends and family. The exact date is slightly different each year, and it's slightly different depending on which part of the world you're in, which is very interesting. Now, Islam follows a lunar calendar, and Ramadan occurs in the 9th month of this calendar upon rising of the new moon. But Sharia law takes into account certain astronomical calculations that may also vary from region to region. Now, it's derived from the terms of scorching heat and desert, and also related to the expression to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire.
I always wondered where that came from.
Referencing a way to burn out sinful acts and desires through this process of fasting. So this is somewhat of a rigorous holiday requiring serious devotion. Observers rise early to share a meal before sunrise. The first of 5 prayers starts at sunrise. 2 prayers are started during the morning and the afternoon. Daily fasting is broken at sunset with a snack, not dinner. There's the 4th prayer given before dinner. And after dinner, observers head to the mosque for one final prayer of the day. And that concludes a singular day in the Ramadan period. Overall, an exercise to appreciate what we have and to actually feel hunger and depravity, which elicits gratitude.
It's an interesting viewpoint because all the other holidays we feast like crazy.
Oh, yeah, we eat a lot. I mean, like, the amount of food we consume on Thanksgiving is irresponsible at best.
Shameful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Like, we have turkey sandwiches for days afterwards.
This is a great idea because, I mean, how many times can you honestly say, yeah, okay, you've been late getting lunch. It's like you get lunch break at 2:30.
And you get hangry?
Yeah, you're hangry. But how many times have you actually gone an entire day without eating anything?
Well, I mean, it's few and far between.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the idea. I think it's a good idea.
Now, Eid al-Fitr is the festival for breaking the month-long fast and celebrated with new clothing, visiting family members, and, of course, indulging in delicious food. This lasts for 3 days straight.
That's fair. You fast for a month and then eat for 3 days. I get that.
Yeah.
So a Hindu holiday called Diwali is one of the biggest holidays that I could find in the Hindu religion. Usually observed in late October. It lasts about 5 days. It is was created to celebrate and honor the gods and ring in the new year. Lamps are lit to welcome the goddess Lakshmi. She brings prosperity in the new year.
That's Lakshmi.
Lakshmi?
Yeah.
How'd I say it? Lakshmi?
Lakshmi.
I'm Southern Sai. I forgot. Lakshmi. Lights also symbolize everything good in the world and in the Hindu religion. And since this is considered to be a very happy celebration, they often serve sweet foods and treats, and they have many, many feasts. Now, speaking of sweet foods, why don't we talk about Halloween?
I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. said L.M. Montgomery, a Canadian author. Halloween is celebrated differently around the world, but most festivities are related to the human fascination with death. All right, but we're going to talk about Halloween in the U.S. It may have been derived from All Hallows Day or All Saints Day in the Christian faith, or from the Samhain, a pagan holiday, or a combination of both. A lot of holidays are just a mezcla of different religious and or pagan traditions, along with a whole bunch of capitalism sprinkled in with, just candy and festivities. All Saints Day is a day to honor all saints, makes sense, known or unknown. Some observers abstain from eating meat, often a sign of patience and vigil.
I'm not celebrating All Saints Day, if that's how you celebrate.
Is it vigil?
Vigil.
Vigil. And Samhain is a pagan holiday celebrating the change into the darker part of the year and a thinning of the wall between this world and the next, something that we're pretty familiar with.
Yes, on our demon hunts of the new year.
Exactly. I'm not saying that we're successful. I mean, we're probably
I've never seen a demon. I don't know. Actually, do you believe in demons and ghosts? This is good. I was going to ask you this.
I think the supernatural exists in some form or another.
I think the supernatural exists. I think demons are what we would call ghosts, or what some people believe ghosts are.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ever tell you about Ghost Road? Did you go with us to Ghost Road?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So in Statesboro, there's a place called Ghost Road.
Mm-hmm.
I've been
Is
on
a road
there.
made by ghosts or a road made for ghosts? Or
There's a ghost on the road.
Okay.
I've been there several times. The first time I went, the guy I went with was incredibly scared. I thought he was just faking me out. People were going to jump out of the woods and scare me or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we got there, and by goodness, I saw some black figure way down the road.
Like a shadow man?
Yeah, kind of. And it was weird. And I could have dismissed it as an optical illusion because I went back several times. I saw it every time. But one time, 4 of us went. We barely knew each other. We were all college students, all college kids. We all went. It was late at night, and we drove up. 2 of us were like, you know what, I'm tired of seeing this thing every time, not knowing what it is. Let's get out and walk up to it. There's obviously nobody up there. One
Using
of the worst
the
decisions of
scientific
my
method,
life.
yeah.
So
logic and reasoning. Let's go confront it.
We start walking up to the car. Now, if you're in the car, or if you were in a car on that road, you had to turn off all the lights inside, like cover up with towels and everything. So we did that. We could see it. We get out of the car, lights off. We start walking up. This thing takes 3 or 4 steps out into the middle of the road. And normally when someone's backlit, there's some kind of color. This was black, like dark, did not absorb any light, or absorbed all the light, did not reflect any light. Mm. And we kind of looked at each other, and we looked back at it. It took a step towards us. And before any of us could say anything, we were all in the car and about a mile down the road. And I finally broke the silence. I was like, you guys all saw that, right? Oh, the creepy thing, when we got back in the car, we could still see it in the road standing there. We turned the lights on. It was gone. The headlights just totally washed it out.
Wow.
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now. It was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. And I feel bad because
So listeners, if you're taking this all in right before going to sleep, we're sorry.
Don't worry about the monster under your bed. He's happy. He's happy tonight.
Worry about the one in the closet.
Yeah. But yeah, that was definitely a creepy thing I've experienced firsthand.
That's a crazy story. Now, children like to dress up as ghosts or superheroes or the like. Traditions for Halloween have always included costumes and parties, trick-or-treating, bobbing for apples, and watching horror movies. What would be your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, that's a good question. I go through a bunch of cycles. Like, I used to love Friday the 13th, and then that's just kind of gratuitous violence now to me. It's still an interesting movie, but I mean, it just got ridiculous. Like with Jason X going into space, and they recreated him off of just a little bit of DNA. That was kind of ridiculous. But Halloween, Michael Myers. Now,
oh yeah,
that is just a true slasher film. The guy was just a psycho. It's a great film. What about you? What's your favorite horror movie?
So I really like sci-fi related horror movies.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite movies of that genre would have to be Event Horizon.
Oh, that's a creepy one.
Isn't it?
Yeah. That's, what's his name? The guy in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Dr. Grant. Oh, what's it? Sam Neill. Sam Neill's his name.
Yeah. So the cast consists of Sam Neill, Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
Yeah.
Larry the Cowboy's in.
It's also got Jolie Richardson and Jason Isaacs. It's got a whole bunch of people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not going to give too much away if you haven't seen the movie, but we recommend you watch it. They essentially find a ship stranded far away from Earth, trying to figure out what had happened to it, and like all these like strange things going on because they're working on this weird temporal drive engine.
And it's right next to an event horizon, right, of a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name of the movie. That's
Yep.
a good one. Now, another thing is visiting supposedly haunted places.
Like that road that you were on.
Yep. We just talked about that. So, carving jack-o'-lanterns. Okay. I'm going to take a story time here.
Story time.
Do you know where the tradition of the jack-o'-lantern comes from?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell the listeners too.
Okay.
There is a story as an Irish tradition to carve turnips or pumpkins, any kind of gourd. And there was a guy named Jack. Well, Jack tricked the devil. A couple of beginning parts of the story. One is that he tricked him into climbing a tree. And then the devil could look out on the village and decide how he was going to, enact his evil plan to steal souls. And when he climbed the tree, Jack put a lot of crosses around the bottom of the tree so the devil couldn't climb down. The other way Jack tricked the devil was he convinced the devil to turn into a coin and show himself off around the town as a silver coin that was new to the town, and then turn back into the devil. Well, that would make the coin disappear, right? So everybody would fight about it. A lot of people would go to hell and have their souls taken by Satan.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah.
But when the devil turned himself into the coin, Jack...
He spent the coin.
He put him in a vending machine, got a Coke out. No, he put the coin in his wallet.
I mean, if it's like, some sort of diabolical, sinful scheme, he probably got Pepsi instead, right?
I like Pepsi. It's a Southern drink.
Just saying.
Anyway, he put the devil as the coin into his wallet next to a cross, and that trapped the devil in his wallet. Now, eventually, Jack, in either story, this is where the stories merge, Jack eventually agreed to let the devil go back to his form or out of the tree.
Well, they negotiated like a ceasefire?
Yeah, pretty much. And Jack said, I will let you go, but you can't ever take my soul. So Satan said, okay.
Fine.
Fine, you got me. So, of course, Jack
not
goes
gonna
on.
make my quota this month.
Jack goes on to live his life, a very not good life. So he dies, gets to heaven. Heaven won't accept him because he lived a bad life. So he goes back to hell. Satan says, we made a deal. I can't accept you. And it's at nighttime when Jack dies. So Jack talks about how dark it is. And Satan says, well, here. And he throws him a piece of coal to help light his way. So based on the tradition of carving out these turnips, Jack finds one, puts the coal into the turnip, and there you go. You have a man now wandering the earth, forbidden from heaven or hell, carrying a lighted turnip, and he is known as Jack of the Lantern. Or if you're Irish, Jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. And I'm sure like years down the road he becomes Jack the Pumpkin King.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Oh, what's his name? Tim
Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas.
That Tim Burton's a crafty one.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Thanksgiving for a second, or just a day in which you eat a lot with people you may or may not like. One of the only holidays that isn't based on a major part of any religion. It's celebrated in America, Canada, Grenada, Liberia, and St. Lucia. There's similar observations in Japan and Germany. So it's observed in the U.S. on the fourth Thursday in November. So it doesn't necessarily fall on a specific date, just a specific time in November. The American tradition was brought over from England with the Pilgrims and the settlers. And the traditional scene we were taught in school was that Native Americans sat with the Pilgrims peacefully. That's not actually accurate, like, at all. Thanksgiving was actually based on bloody violence. In the 1630s, a native tribe was accused of killing one of the colonists, and the colonists in turn burned down the native villages and killed those that didn't die in the original fire. Hundreds of Native Americans from those tribes were killed in total. And how is this related? So the governor of Massachusetts at the time, Governor Bradford, had declared that Thanksgiving would be henceforth celebrating the bloody victory, thanking God that the battle had been won.
Such a loving sentiment for a nice family holiday.
Mm-hmm. So when you're essentially making those paper turkeys with your hands, just think about the fact that it wasn't really based on camaraderie among the colonists and the Native Americans. It was essentially to celebrate the decimation of an indigenous population.
I'm thinking the Puritans were not the friendliest people.
They weren't the most pure. Thanksgiving eventually took the place of Evacuation Day on November 25th, which was a day celebrating the British leaving after the American Revolution. And so that became more of a celebratory period at the time, and Thanksgiving essentially became associated with that.
Yep. America.
Mm-hmm.
America won, get out, England. Now, another holiday that comes around this time is Kwanzaa. That was created by Maulana Karenga to celebrate African American culture. In Swahili, Kwanzaa means first fruits of the harvest. It's celebrated from December 26th to January 1st. And it was first celebrated in 1966. It's based on 7 principles that Mr. Karenga came up with. Those are unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. The symbols of this holiday include 7 candlesticks to represent the 7 principles, of course. Corn, which represents children celebrating this holiday. A communal cup they often share libations from. Giving thanks, similar to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and giving gifts. Now, Karenga was also an important figure in the Black Power movements of the 60s and 70s, and he said that Kwanzaa gave the cultural revolution he sought identity, purpose, and direction. Now, because of this and the principle of self-determination, Kwanzaa is often celebrated completely independently, or it was when it started, although now many modern families kind of mix it in with Christmas and New Year's.
Now we're on to Hanukkah, sometimes spelled with a C.
Hanukkah?
Yeah, close.
Chanukah.
Chanukah.
No, Adam Sandler says the C is silent in Hanukkah.
Is it? So, interesting story, side bit. For our Christmas, our family Christmas, about a year ago, we did one of those, like 23andMe tests.
Really?
Yeah. And found out that, like, I'm a good percentage Ashkenazi.
Where is that from?
So, Ashkenazi actually refers to Jewish settlers who established communities along the Rhine River in Western Germany and in Northern France, dating back to the Middle Ages.
Oh, wow.
So for Christmas, we found out we're Jewish.
Well, I bet, man, if you have settlers in Germany and France, there's a good chance some of your ancestors probably survived the Holocaust.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, we may never know for certain, like, what the actual ancestry is, but just from the genetic determinant, then yes, I am part Jewish.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, Hanukkah was called the Festival of Lights originally to commemorate a menorah burning for 8 nights when there was only enough olive oil for 1 night. This happened after a Jewish temple was desecrated by Syrians with a statue of Zeus, and sacrifices to other gods were performed within that temple. The altar in the temple was rebuilt after the Jews drove the Syrians out of the city of Jerusalem. It's actually a minor holiday in the Jewish faith. It's interesting enough. Popularized because of its proximity to Christmas and Thanksgiving each year, and there's no restrictions on working with this holiday.
That's kind of unusual in the Jewish faith, to not restrict a holiday.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. And as an homage to the oil portion of the story, all foods for the festivities are fried.
Yes!
Right?
Love it!
Mm-hmm. So potato pancakes or latkes and jam donuts are served during the festivities.
Oh, sounds like my kind of holiday. Fried food everywhere. Now, we've all heard of the dreidel, right? The famous top that the Jewish religion spins during Hanukkah. But did you know that the device was actually derived from a gambling device? It's called a teetotum. It originated in Ireland or England, and then eventually it was introduced into Germany. Now, the top is a 4-sided top. It has a Hebrew letter on each side. And for the gambling game, each side represents a word by the Hebrew letter. On one side is nothing, on another side is half, on another side is everything, and on the last side is put in English. Now, you were saying that the dreidel, the game was kind of skewed, right?
Yes. So in the game of dreidel, the player with the highest spin has first turn. And if there's a tie, then those who tied spin again. There's this individual, Robert Feinerman, who had done a mathematical analysis of the game dreidel, and he'd shown that the game is quote-unquote unfair, that the first player to spin actually has a better expected outcome than that of the second player, and the second player better than the third, and so on and so forth.
So it's best to go first if you're
best to spin
if you're
first.
gambling with the dreidel.
Mm-hmm. And also, dreidels can come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the quintessential fact of a dreidel is 4 sides.
Right.
But they have had dreidels that are made out of gold and diamonds.
Ooh, pretty.
So there was a dreidel that was in the Guinness Book of World Record for the most valuable dreidel, which is a thing, achieved by the Estate Diamond Jewelry Group in November 2019, was valued at $70,000.
Let's see how much money we possibly have. Let's make a $70,000 toy that is just a top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you got the money. Now, in the Jewish tradition related to Hanukkah, these 4 sides, the 4 letters, Hebrew letters, they think make up an acronym, which is a great miracle happened here. Or if you were to refer to the Holy Temple where it actually happened, the last letter could be changed to there from here, referring to the great miracle of Hanukkah.
Calvin Coolidge, 30th President of the United States, and 30th in my personal ranking of presidents, had said Christmas is not a time nor a season, but a state of mind. To cherish peace and goodwill, to be plenteous in mercy, is to have the real spirit of Christmas. Calvin Cool-Headed Coolidge. All right, we're talking about Christmas. Jingle
Never heard of
bells. Will you let me finish? Trying to get into the Christmas spirit here.
Christmas? What is this here?
Jingle Bells was the first song played in space.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
The first song ever? Like not just first Christmas song, but first song?
First song ever.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. December 16th, 1965. Although it was actually originally a Thanksgiving song written in Savannah, Georgia. However, White Christmas has the Guinness Book of World Records as being the best-selling song of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, everybody loves Christmas music until you play it for a full month everywhere you go.
And Christmas is a season of giving and a season of shipping. UPS ships over 800 million packages during the holiday season alone. That's nearly 3 packages for each person in the United States.
That is a lot of boxes.
That's a lot of boxes.
Now, a lot of people don't realize Christmas is not always been Christmas as we know it today.
What?
Yeah. It's actually rooted in several pagan traditions. Now, Yule, as we all know, the Yule log. Does anybody ever know what a Yule log is? Well, I'm about to tell you. Yule is the celebration of the winter solstice in pagan beliefs. The traditions included sacrificial offerings. That sounds familiar, like giving milk and cookies.
Mm-hmm. We're not talking about the Aztec Empire and sacrificing your heart for the gods.
No, I think these were just like animal sacrifices or just food sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Gift giving, which is obviously apparent at Christmas. Feasting, which, like I said, we do pretty much with every holiday, in the U.S. at least. Decorating trees and the creating of wreaths from the remnants of those trees. But the Yule log, that was actually a large tree trunk that the men would go out and hew down. They would bring it back to camp and set it alight, and that would celebrate the birth of the sun, aka the winter solstice being over the shortest day of the year. It could burn for days. They had such a big log, and people feasted and celebrated as long as this log burned. Now, they also paid homage to the Norse god Odin. He was also referred to as Yulner, which means the Yule one. That sounds kind of similar to a bearded guy I've heard of, celebrated as the holly jolly old Saint Nick, maybe?
The great Norse god Santa Claus.
Yes. Now, there was also a German god. His name was Odin as well. His name was spelled a little bit differently, but he flew through the night sky watching over people. Also sounds quite familiar to me.
Did you know the X in Xmas, you know what it actually stands for?
X-Men? Like Wolverine?
Close.
That'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
An individual with supernatural powers. Christ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Constantine used the first 2 letters of Christ in Greek, chi, and rho to create a banner that looked like a P on top of an X. This was used as an abbreviation for Christmas in 1021 when a scribe was attempting to save space on parchment paper, which was incredibly expensive at the time. So the abbreviation was actually XP-mas.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Later shortened to simply Xmas.
So you're saying, like, all the people that get really upset about Christmas keep the Christ in Christmas. Xmas is keeping the Christ in Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's because of like a paper shortage. Now you know the origin.
Cheap scribes.
It's very unlikely that Jesus, as we know him, was born on December 25th. We truly don't know when he was born, as the exact date is not mentioned in the Bible, and there is a debate about other activities going on at the time in the region. The census mentioned in the book of Luke that his birth had taken place around 6 AD, which was 9 years after the death of King Herod, who is also mentioned in the same time frame in the book of Matthew. So we're trying to figure out exactly what the time and location was, but it's probably going to remain a mystery. So basically the timelines are a bit fuzzy. It doesn't make the story less important or wrong, just not exact.
Right. So, and the big point of this holiday is about love, right? So instead of fighting about the details,
it's all about the presents.
Well, the presents are good too.
Mm-hmm.
But let's
Your presence is presents enough.
Good Lord. Okay.
But also presents.
Here we go. Let's just remember to love each other. Let's not get caught up in the details. Let's celebrate family and time together. Now, another interesting fact about Christmas is that it wasn't celebrated for a long time. Easter was the main holiday for Christians for 300 years until Christmas was adopted by the church. And it was actually adopted by the church in an effort to bring in pagans who were celebrating the Saturnalia celebration. Pope Julius I chose December 25th as that corresponded with the Saturnalia celebration. The earliest celebrations held that the poor were repaid by the rich, owing that the rich had a debt to settle with society. So the poor would go around on Christmas and knock on the door of the wealthy, and much like the tradition of trick-or-treating, they would ask for food and drink. And if they were turned away, they would threaten mischief. Actually, the mischief was violence.
It's Christmas violence?
Christmas violence.
So Christmas was actually a very violent holiday.
It was, and we'll get even better there. For centuries, people would attend church to celebrate Christmas, and then they would have a drunken festival, oftentimes out in the woods, that was similar to Mardi Gras or Carnival. That's why, did you know that Christmas was actually illegal in the United States?
It's too radical.
Actually, yeah, it was.
But the fringe society out in the forest.
I don't like that fat, happy red man. No, it was the Puritans. Now, it wasn't exactly the United States. This was back in the colonial days, but the Puritans of New England outlawed Christmas because there was too much debauchery going on.
Well, that makes sense. Now, Christmas traditions were brought to America in the 18th century with the arrival of European immigrants. And contrary to popular belief, Coca-Cola did not invent the modern image of Santa as we know him. This image has been used for years before the Coca-Cola ads and also has come from European traditions. Now, St. Nicholas of Myra was the patron saint of children and sailors. He would leave gold in their stockings to prevent them from becoming prostitutes.
Yep, he was a good guy.
It's a good thing. The original story of St. Nick's miracle is actually super weird. For those who do have children in the room, now would be a good time for them to leave for a little bit. Just fair warning. He found a pickle barrel with 3 dismembered children's bodies, and with magic, he brought the parts back to life, recreating the 3 children. That's his miracle.
Restored them whole.
Restored them whole.
Which is a happy ending. Kind of a very gruesome, grisly start, but a happy ending.
Yeah, it's like a Grimm's fairy tale-esque kind of portrayal on making sure that you don't talk to strangers and end up in pickle barrels. But we're glad the children came back to life.
Indeed we are. But Charlie, let's end this on a little bit happier note. The American sociologist Charles Horton Cooley, he said, to get away from one's working environment is, in a sense, to get away from oneself. And this is often the chief advantage of travel and change. We need to focus. This is our most important mission yet.
You're right. Okay, everyone. Shh. All right, hide.
What the?
Surprise!
We got you a cake, Katana.
It's tres leches.
My favorite. You guys remembered. I'm ready to unwrap my present now, Mr. Hatchet.
We all got the birthday update, and we wouldn't want to miss out on a chance to celebrate with our favorite coworker.
Maybe later. Don't keep me waiting.
Whoa, that's hilarious, because he says that to everyone, and only one person can be his favorite coworker.
That's right, Jeff.
We're so happy to have you guys here. I know it's only been a few weeks, but it feels like we've known you two forever.
Excellent work.
Thanks, Jeff. We got the pastry team to write a little message on the cake.
It says, well wishes on your special day, congratulations on your continued existence in the cosmos, and here's to many solar cycles to come. We've also been trying to reach you regarding your spaceship's extended warranty.
We couldn't afford a cake decorator without ads.
Frosted onto a birthday cake?
You'd be surprised how much exposure these ad agencies get from birthdays, weddings, Taco Tuesdays, and the interplanetary widely respected Lima Bean Respect Day.
Lima Bean Respect Day?
Oh, yes, most definitely. That sacred holiday is there to honor the humble lima bean, as its nutritional content has been paramount in seeding multiple colony sites on other worlds.
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's been cultivated for thousands of years with the advent of human civilization and still remains today an important dietary staple.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm just here to party, as well as dispense important knowledge of historically significant agricultural paradigms.
The cake is very thoughtful. I don't know if I can keep up the self-restraint, Mr. Hatchet. We may have to excuse ourselves from the party, and I may have some restraints we can use.
Happy birthday.
Here comes the birthday police. Can't have a nice party anymore.
Why aren't all of you asleep?
'Cause it's the work day.
We put knockout gas through the ventilation system. It must have rerouted.
Are you guys like office vampires? Let me check my breath. I had some garlic knots for lunch.
You killed Jeff.
Huh. Jeff's not moving.
He's dead? I'd like his corner office, but it looks out on the guinea pig lab. I can't stand how adorable those things are.
He is stunned. If you're at all curious, you don't seem too concerned.
He's not exactly the office favorite.
We didn't invite him.
My mercenaries and I aren't here for your things. He may have overheard from Patrice. You know, she's the office gossip. We are here for the company coffers.
That's the last time we confide in her.
She'd even give away the safe code just to be more popular. Wait, one of you has the access code?
She's not going to be popular at next week's mid-afternoon mixer.
Who is this Patrice? Did she tell you the code?
Ah, good one. You two hired these guys to crash the birthday party?
I do not know what you're talking about. We are deadly serious. Switching settings from stunt to kill.
Yeah, we definitely hired these actors from a local theater troupe. This is all part of an immersive experience where we pretend to rob the company with a ragtag group of mercenaries. We know the code.
For the love of... almost said it. What are you doing?
Keeping us alive long enough to get the Daystar out of here.
Who are you?
Oh, hi. My name is Barry D. Hatchet, and this is my coworker, Rick O'Shea. We'll get you to the company coffers.
You better have a plan.
I do. We'll keep the crowd laughing, lull them into a false sense of security as they walk with us to the vault where we have the code, and we'll disappear down a corridor.
And we have less than a solar day to contact Cryo Corp with our decrypted message. Otherwise, the mind lock for decades. This is a Canis major problem.
We have plenty of time to get to them.
What are you two talking about?
Oh, no need to spill any blood.
Did you say blood? What my coworker means is that we can get you there, and you can be on your way with whatever artifact, gem, device you're looking for. Good. Very good. What did you do? Huh. Confirmed our suspicions. You are not like the others. If you're curious, they're fine. Even your Jeff.
How are we not asleep?
Good question. Genetic modifications? Cybernetics? Or the lichen affliction? Wait, we're not werewolves.
No, we both came from the habitable zone in Proxima Centauri prior to the diamond storms.
You're telling me both of you happen to come from the one system that mysteriously disappeared under a diamond storm. Curious. Proceed to the vault. Do you happen to know Jim Cunningham? Sure, everyone knows Jim. He's head of the Felgretti vampire clan. They call him Commodore Cunning.
Commodore Cunning, Captain Case, those are both the initial CC. You don't think Jim is behind the organization who sent us those chocolates outside Gatsby's and everything, do you?
Or that Captain Case has anything to do with it? It very well could be. Jim may have the answers we need. If you are thinking of meeting with Jim, it's impossible. No one meets with him unless he specifically asks for it. You might as well get guinea pig to talk.
They have a lab here, you know.
We are well aware. Are you close to the vault? This playful banter is not going to stop us from killing you if you're lying to us about access code.
Of course. We're honest men. We stake our reputation.
Please do not mention that word.
Oh, apologies. And I'm assuming garlic powder?
The absolute worst.
What are you doing? Trying to figure out their weaknesses.
They're vampires. Steaks, garlic, sunlight, holy water, juniper. What are you talking about? We were just saying if garlic powder is made out of garlic, then baby powder is obviously made out of...
We're here.
You better have a plan. Do you trust me? I guess we're still alive. Well, I appreciate your honesty. Follow my lead.
Does Matt have a plan? Will they meet the infamous Jim from accounting? And can they get their message to Cryo Corp in time? All these and more on the next episode of The MidFlight Crisis.
That's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, we exist within the universe.
And the universe exists within ourselves. We're all the stuff of stars.
So have a stellar day, everyone, and thanks for stopping by our corner of the cosmos.
This has been the MidFlight Crisis podcast. You can support important spaceship repairs and maintenance by subscribing to the MidFlight Crisis Patreon page. We'd love to hear your suggestions about the show and future topics, and we appreciate your support, ratings, and reviews. This endeavor isn't possible without amazing listeners like you. Thanks for sharing your space and time with us. We'll see you on our next adventure. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop us a line at intrepidtransfer@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.